Hey, this is AJ. Welcome back to the Handyman process. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how do you get supplies, what are some different techniques to pick up your supplies to make yourself a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to talk about a couple different ways that I'm familiar with that people get their supplies, and I'll talk about the process that I use, so stay tuned. Okay, so there's multiple different ways to get supplies, but I'm going to break it down into two types of handyman and how you get your supplies. You have the one kind of handyman who does jobs day to day, and you show up to a customer's house and you find out what the job is, and you go and you run and you get the supplies, and then you do the job, and maybe you run back and forth a couple of times. I'm not that kind of handyman. I don't run my business that way. The way that I run my business is I schedule jobs out. So right now it's beginning of March. I have jobs scheduled out to the end of March. So part of my estimating and my planning process is as I get pictures and I understand the jobs, I'm essentially creating a buy list of what I need. And since I have limited time, I strategically lay out my trips to the store, and I try to get all the supplies I need for the upcoming jobs, especially if I know I'm not going to hit the hardware store again anytime soon. In addition to that, I also like to pre-order some stuff. So I usually shop at Lowe's. I go to Home Depot as well, but primarily I'm at Lowe's. So for certain things that are time consuming, I will place an order online that will be waiting for me. So an example today is I have a job coming up on Friday, and part of that job is I need 20 bags of decomposed granite plus a bunch of retaining wall blocks, some heavy stuff, right? And I can go to the store and I can get the cart and I can roll stuff up, but why not tell Lowe's, hey, have all that stuff ready for me and put it in my truck? So when I go to Lowe's this afternoon, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, I'm here. I'm gonna say hi to the guy. I'm gonna say, put everything in that truck. He's gonna put it in the truck, and I'm gonna run inside. I'm gonna grab a few things that I didn't wanna buy online. I need to get a new angle grinder and some other stuff. So that's an example, one way of using what's available to you from the stores. You're paying a lot of money for the stores. You might as well have them load up the stuff in the back of your truck, right? I generally don't do that with lumber because we all know how the lumber comes out, right? It's all scraggly and twisted up, but for basic commodities, decomposed granite, and those retaining wall blocks, yeah, all day long, show up and do that. But what I normally do, like I mentioned, I'll have my list, right? So I know I'm going to the store, and I try to go to the store on my way back or way to my office job, usually on the way back. That way I can count the mileage towards my business thing, because I'm gonna stop at the hardware store on the way there. So what I'll do is I'll get to the hardware store, and I'll already know in my mind, I'm a little bit of a freak when it comes to memory. So I already know what I need, right? Because I've already cataloged it. But I'll open up my app anyway, my Marcade app. I'll scroll through my jobs. So let's see what job the jobs that I have coming up Friday, right? I need decomposed granite. I need the retaining wall blocks. And that's all I really need for that job. And then Friday afternoon, I have another job where I need a bunch of shelving supplies. So I go into the Lowe's app and I normally either I'll tag the items or I'll just have a picture. Like as I was making the estimate, I knew what kind of shelves I needed. So I just took a screenshot. And by this point, I should work at Lowe's because I know where everything is. So I'm going to run right back to aisle 47 or whatever it is, pick up the shelves. And then I have one more job. Actually, I have two more jobs, but one of them needs supplies. So I have one more job on Saturday morning where I know I need 8-foot lengths of metal 4-inch edging for lawn. So I'll go, and that's usually the case where I'll have them loaded up for me, but that was gonna be, I know exactly where that is. I'm gonna run in, grab it on my way to that job, just because limitations in my truck, and it's just gonna make it simpler that way. But that's generally how I get supplies. I very, very rarely have to run to the store while on a job for stuff. I see a lot of people struggle and fight with this. My recommendation is think about it, right? What are you gonna need, everything that you need, and then overbuy it. I return so much stuff to Lowe's and Home Depot, it's not even funny. I'm so used to the process now, like decomposed granite, right? I bought 20 bags. I think I need 15, 16 bags. I don't want to have to run and get, those extra bags while I'm there. So what I'll do is, if I have to return them, I'll just put them back in my truck. I'll go in there on my next trip to Lowe's, and that's part of my flow, right? If I'm going to Lowe's anyway to pick up supplies, part of my flow will be all my returns. I usually keep a basket or something in my garage where I'm just dumping stuff. And since I always use the same credit card or debit card, what I do is I just drop everything on a counter. They ring it all up. They ask me for a receipt. I said, I'm just gonna put it on my card. I put my card in the machine, they recognize this card bought all that stuff, they say sign the receipt, I'm done. There's a couple of people in my local Lowe's that are like super quick, right? And then you have a few that aren't. So whenever I see those super efficient people, I'm always happy. But overbuy, right? Overbuy, because when you have to return things, it's no big deal. And somebody asked me recently, well, how do you deal with returns and money and stuff? Think about it this way, is you sold the job, right? And you sold the job, and in your mind, you're going to get paid $100 and you're going to have $50 in supplies, so you had a $50 profit, right? But let's say you only needed $45 of those supplies, so you returned 5 of them. What happens to that return money? Essentially, you have a higher profit margin, right? So instead of making $50, you made $55. So if you have some type of system like I use Novo, it's no big deal at the end of the year. How much did I spend? How much did I make? What's the difference? Get out some other tax stuff and you're done. But if you're like me, where you don't have a whole lot of time and you schedule jobs out, I would recommend at least trying this process, see if it works out for you. Like I said, Tuesday nights, I gotta drive my son to Guitar near Home Depot anyway, so I go over there. While he's in there, I grab a few odds and ends, usually tools. That's where I spend a little time kind of window shopping there. But everything else is Lowe's right up the street from my house. So I'm gonna go there this afternoon, pick up everything I need. It's gonna be staged and ready to go, so that Friday, Saturday, actually I got one job on Sunday too, just gonna flow right through it. So anyway, that's how I do my purchasing of supplies for different types of jobs. If you have any questions or thoughts, go ahead and let me know. If you like my kind of content, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It helps me get the word out, and stay tuned for the next one. Bye.